and getting to know the people of New Orleans. Last time I was here, it was for an oil and gas conference, and now being here, hearing of the inspiring stories and people who have rebuilt and really revitalized and restored after Katrina, it's very inspiring. I want to take a moment to thank this amazing city, especially the people who represent New Orleans, who are working here, serving guests today with public safety and with the wait staff, making us feel so at home. We thank you, New Orleans. Thank you. Good, patriotic people, too. I knew I shouldn't say you betcha after that. I don't know if it'd go over well, but who dat? There you go. Go Saints. Good, patriotic people here. And I know this crowd, too. Patriotic people, and do you love your freedom? Do you love your freedom? Then we thank a vet, and we're going to do that right now. I know that there are folks here who have served in the past, maybe serving today in uniform. Raise your hand. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We thank you, sir. We salute you. God bless you. Good. Thank you for your service. Yep, last time I was here, Oil and Gas Conference, and now we are here. It's April 9th on American Tax Freedom Day. Happy Tax Freedom Day. Jonah Goldberg wrote a good piece in USA Today earlier this week about this, explaining that American citizens now spend about 100 days of the year working for their government before they start earning our own money that we get to spend. And that just doesn't sound right to me. That sounds like we're working for government instead of government working for us. It's time that we reverse that. But happy American Tax Freedom Day here on April 9th. Well, folks, it seems like we are really learning what the president meant with his slogan, yes, we can. When you turn that sound bite into a sentence, you get, yes, we can spread the wealth around. Yes, we can spend money that we do not have on programs that we don't need, and we're going to stick the next generation with the bill. To a lot of us, that's stealing. And yes, we can put our country back on a track that's not a good track, because this track is going to quadruple our national debt. And yes, we can let the government take over 1/6 of the private sector economy with the mother of all unfunded mandates, Obamacare. These are just a few of the domestic policy accomplishments. And in foreign policy, well, now we've got the makings of the Obama Doctrine. The Obama Doctrine, which is coddling enemies and alienating allies. The administration eased sanctions on Cuba and sided with Chavez against Honduran democracy. They won't bring up human rights with China because they, quote, they already know what they're going to say. They offer tepid conditions and sanctions on North Korea and gold stars and cookies to the Sudanese presidents. They send letters to Iranian mullahs, but can barely muster a word of support for the Green Movement, those in Iran seeking freedom, seeking women's rights, barely uttering a word of support for that. Now, the president, with all the vast nuclear experience that he acquired as a community organizer, and as a part-time senator, and as a full-time candidate, all that experience, still no accomplishment to date with North Korea and Iran. Meanwhile, this administration alienates our friends. They treated the Afghan president, Karzai, poorly, and then they feigned surprise when he reacted in kind. They escalated a minor zoning decision into a major breach with Israel, our friend, our closest ally in the Middle East. Let's remind our president, Jerusalem is not a settlement, and Israel is our friend. And the critical nuclear concerns of our time be North Korea, because they have nukes, and Iran, because they want nukes. So, yes, we can kowtow to enemies, criticize allies, vacillate, bow, dither. Yes, we can, but somebody needs to tell the president just because we can does not mean that we should. So now they're revising that that 2008 slogan for 2010 and having just rammed through a more than $2 trillion healthcare takeover, flying around the country now on this taxpayer-funded victory lap, proclaiming proudly, yes, we did. Well, you know, I wouldn't be so quick to slap that one on a bumper sticker, not just yet, because I think a lot of common sense conservatives can relay some slogans that the majority of Americans like a lot better than that, like repeal and replace. The bumper sticker, how's that hopey changey thing working out for y'all now? Or my favorite, don't retreat, reload, and that is not a call for violence. Taking opportunity to engage and debate and to vote. It's not a call for violence. No one is calling for such a thing, and the media is so desperate to discredit the people's movement and the Tea Party movement that, you know, they'll make that up. But no, nobody is calling for violence. Now, whether we're talking about foreign or domestic policy, the Obama-Pelosi-Reid agenda, it defies logic and it defies common sense, and it will leave us less secure and more in debt and more beholden to foreign countries and more under the thumb of big government. It is out of touch. It's out of date, and they're running out of time. Because Americans across this great country, they are standing up and they're speaking out for common sense conservative solutions, and they're telling Washington, just back off. Some of us, part of the Tea Party movement, some of us registered Republicans, some of us are what we used to call Reagan Democrats, and some are just, like most of my friends and my family, including my own husband, most just independents, just lovers of this great country, so proud every day to be American, but also very, very concerned about the path that we are now on. All of them deeply concerned about our country. And frankly, some of them are a little bit skeptical, concerned about our party, about our own GOP. For years, the federal government grew and individual freedom shrunk. For Americans who believed in conservative first principles, this was quite concerning and disheartening to watch some Republicans stop putting those principles first. I kind of lived through that as the governor of Alaska, having vetoed some of Obama's stimulus funds that had fat strings attached and kind of violated the 10th Amendment to our Constitution. My veto of those funds was overridden by a Republican-led legislature because too many people just want to believe this is all free money. Somehow it's all just going to magically work out. In the words of Bill Clinton, remember he kind of paraphrased it well when he said, "If this ain't the biggest fairy tale I've ever seen." Of course, that was, you know, before Obama was elected, so we don't know in what context well, I'll take it in the context that I want it. But today, though, the grand old party has its eyes wide open. Do we not have our eyes wide open? And we're realists. We know now. We know. We're getting back to our grand old roots. And when the other party is wrong, we're stiffening our spines, and we're saying so because there is no shame in being the party of no. If they're proposing, the other side proposing an idea that violates our values, violates our conscience, violates our Constitution, what's wrong with being the party of no? We will oppose it. Or better said by the good governor of this state, he said, party of no? Nah, we're